Okay, so yes, good morning, guys. If you're not already on a mat, if you want to make your way to a mat, and we're going to start by just sitting down on the mats, legs crossed. If you want to start there. Okay, hopefully you can see me. I'm looking a bit dark on the screen, but okay, if you just start by just staying seated on your sit bones and then bring your chest up nice and high so you're sat nice and tall. And we're just going to start with some gentle shoulder rolls. So taking nice big deep breaths. If you roll your shoulders up towards your ears and then back down. So we're going to just focus on neck and shoulders for the first few minutes this morning. So don't rush these, take your time. Okay, if you just complete one more. Okay, if you then want to bring your fingertips onto your shoulders. Now I'm limited on my right arm, so I'll show you what this should look like with really only one-sided for me. So if you bring your elbows together at the front, and then what I want you to do is using both arms, is lift them up and around, making the circle as big as you can, and then bringing your arms back to the front. So you both elbows coming up, lift both arms up and around and back down. And again, just take your time with that. Ignore my right arm. And as you squeeze your shoulders back, try and imagine squeezing a pencil between your shoulder blades. So you're coming up, and at this point, really squeeze those shoulder blades back down. If we do one more. Okay. Then I'm going to just move to the side so you can see. If you then just come so you onto your fingertips, but they're behind you again, still staying tall. And we're going to leave our fingers on the floor behind you. And then what I want you to do is just gently, we'll start with the left side. So if you bring your left ear down towards your left shoulder, I'm just going to hold that position. Okay, then come back to the middle, and then we'll go to the right side. And then back to center. And then just gently, we're just going to nod the head. So you're going to tuck your chin in towards the chest. And then nod your head back. And just keep this one a little bit more dynamic. Okay, if you then go on your fingertips still, but arms out to the side, and then we'll do that ear to shoulder again. So we'll start on the left side. So if you bring your left ear towards your shoulder, and then what I want you to do is bring your right hand off the floor, and imagine as though you're pressing your right hand into a wall. Then you should feel an increase in the stretch as you're stretching the nerve. if you're able to, you can bring your hand a little higher, and that will increase the stretch. Okay, if we place that hand gently back down onto the floor, then we're going to go to the right side. And then again, this time you bring your left hand up and kind of press away like you're pushing into the wall with that left hand. Okay, and if you come back to center, remind myself what I want to do. So we're going to go back to some shoulder circles, making them a little bigger, a little quicker with these shoulder circles. Again, nice big deep breaths as you're doing these. So this time trying to bring the shoulders up to the ears and then squeezing your shoulders back. Okay, and then lastly, with the neck, what I want you to do is just start making a small circle. If you start to look around, so you're bringing the head around in a small circle, just stay in one direction. And then gradually make that circle a little bit bigger. Then a little bit bigger again. And then we'll reverse, starting big. So we're going to go in the opposite direction, starting big, and then gradually getting that little bit smaller. Okay. Hopefully neck and shoulders feeling a little bit more relaxed. If we're going to a 4-point kneel for me, so we're going to move onto hands and knees. We're going to start with one we did do last week. So we're going to start with the cat-cow. So I want you to start by arching your back up. Try and start this movement with the lumbar part of your back, so the lower part of your back. If you start to arch your back up, start to look towards your chest. And then we'll keep this one more dynamic as well. So then we're going to reverse that movement. And then repeat. Okay, we'll have 2 more of these. Again, trying to arch a little bit higher. So we're just flexing and extending your spine. Okay, then staying in 4-point kneeling, we're going to thread the needle. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by lifting the arm up and around, and then threading the arm underneath till the ear touches the floor or shoulder touches the floor, and then come back up and around. So if you just stay on one side, and again, we'll keep this dynamic to keep moving. Each time coming around that little bit further and pushing the arm through. Okay, on this next one, I want you to hold the position where your shoulder or ear is on the floor. So just hold that position for me. Okay, and we'll come back and then we'll repeat on the other side. So I want you to work through the same range. My range will be a little bit less on this side, but if you work through the same range, so again, start by coming up and around, and then tuck the arm and bring your shoulder and ear towards the floor. A lot of neck, shoulders, back focus for us to start this morning, first half of this reset class. Again, on this next one, if you stay on the floor with the arm threaded underneath, we'll just hold that position. Okay, and then slowly, if you come out of there and you can sit back onto your heels for me. And I want you to interlock your fingers behind your back, and we're going to sit into a child's pose. If you then want to lean forward, bringing your head towards the floor, keep your hands behind your back. Okay, if you bring your arms back to the front, press them under your shoulders, and then we'll go back to our 4-point kneel. This next section, we're going to just stay on the left side to start with. So if you go left leg out towards your side, and then we'll start with just a dynamic abductor stretch. So you're going to push your hips back and then move back to the front. So you're feeling this working the inside of your thigh, back up. Okay, and this next one, if you hold that end position, and then you can just add the smallest of pulses into that movement. Okay, then I want you to place that left foot on the outside of your left hand and then push the right leg back behind you. So we're still on our knee, and then slowly just wiggle that left foot out a little bit wider. And then from here, we're then going to come into that runner's lunge. So we're going to lift off the knee if you're able to, or you can stay on the knee. You're going to lift off the knee into that lunge position. Now we should be feeling a stretch running down through your hips, into your quads. And again, if you just want to add that little pulse. Okay, and then if you want to put the right knee back onto the floor and then walk the left foot back in, bring it, now this time now it's going to be inside your arm. So the left foot's now in the center line, inside of both your hands. And then what I want you to do is sit back. So we're going to, you're going to keep that knee on the floor, push the right leg a little further back, then you're going to sit back, and we should be feeling a stretch now in the left leg and the backs of the legs and your hamstrings. You may be able to get this leg quite straight. Mine's a bit bent because the hamstrings are tight. If you just sit yourself as far back as you can so you can feel that stretch working the back of the left leg. I'm just going to hold that stretch. So don't try and pulse that one, just hold that. Okay, and then if you come back forwards, and then you can walk the left foot back out. So it's now outside of your hand, and then bring that back around. So we're back into 4-point kneeling. Then we're going to repeat on the other side. So right leg's going out to the side now. Let me show you from the front actually. So right leg is out to the side. I'm going to sit back and we're just going to gently move forwards and back. Okay, so in this end range, we're going to hold that position. And then just add that little pulse. My plinky plonky music stopped. Disappointing. I was quite enjoying that. Hopefully you're all nice and warm in your homes. See, nobody joined me this morning in the studio. Okay, if we then bring that right foot now, so it's on the outside of my right hand, and then I'm going to push the left leg back, and then just walk that right foot out a little bit, so it's a little bit wider than your hands, and then come up into that lunge position now. So I've taken my left knee off the floor, and I'm in that lunge position, and then we're just going to hold that for a second. Again, if you're struggling with that one, you can keep the knee on the floor. Then just add the little pulse into the move. Okay, and then if you relax the left leg or left knee back on, walk your right foot back in. So it's now going to be inside both of your hands. And then we're going to move that left knee back a little bit so we can then push back and feel that stretch in the back of the right leg now. You might find one side's tighter than the other. For me, my right's a little bit easier, can sit a little further back, can get this leg a little straighter. Starting to shake a little bit, this right leg. Okay, if you then come back up, and again, if you bring that right foot back, and then we're going to be back into our 4-point kneeling position. And we're going to finish with this one with the old favorite of mine, the pigeon stretch. So bring your knees together. You're going to bring your legs out to the left, and then we're going to move that left leg back. Now, but make sure you're watching my right leg. What I'm not allowing it to do is tuck underneath me. So we're going to keep it out to the side and then sit as far back as you can. So there's still, for me, still quite a big gap between my thigh and the floor. For some of you, you might find you can lose that gap, just get that thigh closer. But as long as this leg's staying nice and straight, not tucked underneath. And just gradually you might find yourself able to just sink a little further. Okay, if you then bring that left leg back, you're going to bring your knees back together. This time we're going to go out to the right. Left leg is going to stay in place, and our right leg we're going to push as far back as we can. Again, you can stay as I am in that kind of more upright position, or you can put your forearms onto the mat. Okay, and then slowly move yourself back out of that position. And then we're going to just spend the last few minutes. If you want to lay onto your back for me, if you want to lie on the back. Hopefully you can see me. Let me just pull myself a bit further back. So, just going to, one we did last week, the pelvic tilt. So if you put your feet sort of flat on the floor, and then all we're doing is we're just tilting the pelvis posteriorly and anteriorly. So you're just tucking the tailbone under. So you're trying to lift the lower back off the floor and then press it into the floor. Really need to squeeze down when you're pressing the back into the floor. Okay, if we stop there, if you then bring your knees up towards your chest, just place your hands onto your knees. I don't want you to focus too much on squeezing them tightly to your chest, just hold them in that position. And we'll just stay here for a second, so we should feel a stretch in your lower back. And then if you just gently rock from side to side. Now you might find a spot that's really working for you if you've got any tightness in your lower back or any pain. So you can hold that position. Or we can start to just make it a gentle circular movement. And again, you can change direction with that. So you can just play around with this one a little bit. You find what was working for you, what you feel is ease in your lower back. Okay, if you then place your feet on the floor and your arms out to the side, so your arms are in that kind of crucifix position. And then what I want you to do is just let your knees drop towards the floor, pull them back up. We're going to keep this a dynamic movement initially. So you're just letting your legs drop to the floor, back to the middle, and then switching to the other side. Okay, on this one, if we stay on the left, if you stay on your left side, so move down on the left, if you then use your left hand to just bring that left leg a little closer to the floor. And if you look over your right shoulder, we'll just hold that stretch. Okay, and then just release yourself from there. We'll come back to the middle. We'll just do a few more of those switches first. Okay, and then on the next one, if you stay on your right, and then this time your right hand's going to grab the outside of your left leg, pull that a little bit closer to the floor, and then you are looking over your left shoulder. Okay, if you come back to the middle, if you outstretch your legs and then bring both arms up above your head, mine won't work, my right arm. So if you bring both hands, and I want you to stretch yourself as long as you can. Nice big stretch. And then relax from that stretch and then bring your arms back to your side. And then if you just close your eyes for 30 seconds, we'll finish here. Okay, if you open your eyes, you come back to sitting for me, guys. Come back to seated. Hopefully you feel a little bit more mobile than you did 30 minutes ago. And thank you for joining me online. So I'll share details of next week's session on the forum. It more than likely will be Thursday, might be a slightly different time, but I'll share that information. But again, thanks for joining me, and have a wonderful Thursday. We'll see you all soon. Don't forget the recording will be available as well.
Thanks, Mark. See you.
You're welcome. See you soon.
Thank you.